Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Shree Bad. Just wanted to give y'all a quick update on things. Requiem for a Dream Act 2 will still be in effect. Trust and believe. But right now, I'm dealing with real life business. Okay? The fear-mongering that is caused by this coronavirus is crazy, to say the least. And I just wanted y'all to be clear on some things, especially as it relates to New York, because that's where I'm from. Now, New York City, I know about New York City. I don't know too much about upstate or whatever. It's not always the same. You know, things that happen in the city don't always happen upstate and vice versa. So I'm just going to talk to you guys about the general gist of what's going on in New York City. Last night, when I went to some stores, when I went to the grocery store, there was still water. There was still meat. No one was really trying to, price gouge anything like that. Nah. I bought my stuff. The weirdest thing that I noticed was that there was not a lot of fruit. Okay? There was not a lot of fruit in this particular grocery store that I was in. And it was like the little Mexican and Guatemalan ladies are walking around looking for their yuca and they can't find it. So there weren't a lot of fruit. There weren't a lot of vegetables. Canned goods were there, but scarce. You know, those were being sold. And they still had sales in the store, right? I don't know what happened today. I didn't go in a grocery store today. This morning, I went into my regular West Indian pastry store and bought my food. No problem, right? No real panic, no nothing. However, when I turned on the news this morning, they were talking about remember, I got my quote fingers up, a lockdown. So Tuesday at 5 p.m., Broadway was closed. There was no Broadway. That was locked down. Starting at 5 p.m. today, many other places are closed, especially venues that hold 500 or more people. Okay? So the assumption is that, big churches we close, no concerts, no clubs, none of that stuff. I don't think there'll be movies. I don't think you'll be able to go to the movies. Yeah. Other than that, places are open and they're leaving it to the decisions of the individual companies to let their employees know what they need to do. I work in a gym. Membership has gone. No one is canceled. People just aren't coming, right? Because they're so scared and it's such a fear-mongering kind of thing going on that less people are coming. But some people are coming, okay? And, they're cleaning. They're asking everyone to clean more. Take care of yourself. If you don't feel well, don't come in. My gym might close certain classes down depending on what's going on at certain places. But otherwise, it's business as usual. The problem with this so-called lockdown, excuse me, just woke up from a nap, are schools, okay? Public schools. Now, most kids got out early today, half day. It's all good, but they want to keep public schools open for as long as possible. One, because a lot of children who are homeless or live in shelters go to school still, and you know, they get their food from school, and school's like a babysitter, you know what I mean? These people, and I don't want to call them these people, right? Because that's kind of funky, but it'll really put a damper in our system, so to speak, if these kids were sent home and stay home for longer than they need to. So spring break is coming, right? So if the kids got to stay home for that, parents are already prepared, right? However, if there were continued lockdowns or added lockdowns to the point where, you know, people couldn't go to work, they couldn't function, this and that, it's going to be a problem. Let me go back to the food real quick. In 2020, rainwater is legal to collect in the whole of New York State. And I'm very happy to hear that, because as a child, well, not as a child, as a teenager, there was a rumor going around that collecting rainwater in New York City was illegal. So I had to check that first and foremost for myself. Okay, it just finished raining out here. It might rain again. I'm definitely going to collect rainwater, and I'm going to learn how to take the rainwater and cleanse it so that I can use it. Now back to the food. Oh, there were even toilet paper in the stores. You know, it wasn't like the big ones. The big ones weren't there, but you know, like the little 4-packs and all that. Those are there. That's cool, okay? Now, the problem is not right now for New York City. The problem is in the future. So, and when I say the future, I don't even mean the future of New York City. I'm talking about the future of America. All right? Because a lot of the food that New York City gets comes from the Midwest or the South. All right? Not even worried about, you know, stuff from Mexico or Chile or, you know what I mean? Like, that's also something to worry about, because if these countries are affected by the coronavirus somehow, it's going to be a problem. So let's take it back to domestic food. So let's say Texas, for example, you know, we get a good amount of food from Texas. And this is just an example because I haven't really done the research to see where we get most of our food from. But I am getting my information from local sources, radio, and the local news, which is a lot more truthful and honest than the nationwide propaganda that we all tend to hear. Okay? So let's say New York City gets a lot of food from Texas. Once again, this is an example. And Texas has way more people with the coronavirus than New York City does. And the state of Texas decides to have their own quarantine, lockdown, whatever you want to call it. We're not quarantined out here, y'all. We're not quarantined out here. It's just a so-called lockdown. Okay? It's not like people can't leave their house or nothing like that. We can leave our house. But if we want to go to the concert tonight, we're not going. If we wanted to go see a Broadway play tonight, that's not happening. If we wanted to go to a restaurant that definitely holds over 500 people, we're not going. And if my homegirl decided to go shake her ass at the club, she'll have to go to club at your house. All right? That's basically it once again. So back to the food. So now, if Texas decided to have a quarantine, or, you know, people couldn't go to work because there was some sort of lockdown over there, then we have to worry about how we're going to get our food. Okay? And New York City don't really grow shit. All right? I told you I was worried about rainwater all these damn years, and I just found out that rainwater to collect it is legal and encouraged in the state of New York. Now remember, I'm saying the state of New York because a lot of times, even though the state of New York trumps the city of New York, a lot of times the city of New York will have its own laws saying certain things that are contradictory to the state of New York. Okay, great. So, and this is why people who live in New York State and City often see like Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo bumping heads, okay? Because Mayor de Blasio will be like, well, New York City needs this, and Governor Cuomo will be like, y'all are bugging, y'all need that, and de Blasio look at Cuomo like, you're up in fucking Albany and Buffalo, what the hell do you know about us? You know, so, anywho, I digress, y'all, I digress. Let's go back. The food is a problem, okay? In the future, food, etc. can be a problem. Great. New York City don't buy nothing. I mean, don't grow anything like that. It's not like we have people. And mind you, I have a gardening store right around the corner from me. They sell seeds. They sell plants, things like this. But it's not on a grand scale. We have community gardens out here, right? But their food sharing is so low level. It's weird. We have programs to help feed the hungry and the homeless. And the hungry means like the elderly, you know, people who can't travel, the disabled, things like that. But we don't do it for ourselves. Okay? So for some reason, the city decided to shut down operations. Half of these services will be gone. Okay? So going back to the public schools and going back to the food, they want to keep public schools open because a lot of the children who go to public schools, I would say a good 25% of them, 20 to 25%, it might be higher from what I heard, but 20 to 25% of children in public schools are officially considered homeless. Okay? They get food during school, and if they are homeless, it will be hard for them to get food. It's not like at the shelter you get food all the time, right? It's not like that. It doesn't always work like that. And a lot of shelters in New York City are dilapidated apartment buildings. So the people still live messed up, right? And they still have to get their own food. This is what food stamps and all these other things are for, right? So they want to keep public schools open for as long as possible. Thank goodness there are no cases of the coronavirus in any public school right now. Okay? So we have to check in on the elderly. And the issue with the elderly, because I was listening to the radio earlier today, and there's a lady named Lisa Evers. I don't know if people outside of New York know who Lisa Evers is, but she is a radio legend, and she's always talked about social issues in our community, and she's always been about the kids and, you know, just doing right, community service. You know, she's all about that. And real quick sidebar, Angel, I'm so sorry. Your name is Angel Domingue, okay? Not Angel Dominique, Angel Domingue. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Lisa Evers, Angel Domingue reminds me of Lisa Evers, okay? Lisa Evers doesn't do a lot of prison outreach, but her outreach is for the street, okay? So, you know, whenever Lisa Evers talks, I tend to listen, whether I agree with her or not. I respect her so much as an authority on, you know, what's really going on in these streets with the people. She has always been able to voice what's going on with the people to those who really don't know. Thank you. So, she was talking with another radio personality, and it's important to check on the elderly, but here's the issue with checking in on the elderly. We're realizing that a lot of people with the coronavirus show no symptoms. So you, as a caretaker for an elderly person, might inadvertently give them the coronavirus because if you're sick or whatever, and you know what? This is normal exchange. The same thing is said about the flu. And this is also flu season. This is seasonal allergy season. And we have to remember that even though there are over 100 cases in Westchester and there are about 100 cases in New York City of the coronavirus, 64,000 people die of the flu every year in America. Every year. And we also have to remember that there are 250 million people in the United States. So if anybody's into statistics or, ratios, on the grand scale of things, we have to worry more about the flu, right? But I understand the implications of this coronavirus business, all right? I'm just mad at the fear-mongering right now. So I'm trying to disseminate certain things to you. Like, yes, this is something to worry about, but here's the other aspect of it, okay? So we got to check on our elderly, especially the ones that say, I'm okay, I can walk around, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. Just check in on them because, like I said, a lot of the symptoms of the coronavirus do not show, right? And especially since this is flu season and the elderly are still susceptible to dying from the flu, check on your elderly. Make sure they're okay. Ask them 5 times. Are you tired? Are you sleepy? You okay? Are you short of breath? Can you talk to me? Can you walk around? Can you, tap your head and rub your belly at the same time? I'm joking right now, but I'm very serious. It's better to look at things from a lighthearted perspective sometimes than to go in and just take it all, into a state of depression. That makes no sense. So we got the elderly. That's bad. We got the kids in schools. That's bad. We got the adults. Oh, something I did not talk about. So this lockdown was talking about so many venues and all this and all that and 500 plus people can't congregate. They're talking about people working from home. So if you have a job that you can do at home, they're suggesting that you go home to work. No big deal. But there's something called social division going on because of this coronavirus. And I'm not really a fan of that either. I think Erykah Badu's outfit is so cute. I love it. But I don't feel like I should walk around in a hazmat suit right now. Okay? I'd rather just continue to wash my hands and take my ginger and elderberry or whatever else I'm supposed to take. Keep active, do certain things that keep my immune system up for the flu, the coronavirus, boo-boo-ka-choo, and all this other stuff going on, okay? Excuse me. Lisa Evers mentioned one other group of people that should really be careful of the coronavirus. And I thought that was so excellent to talk about today, which is really why I came on this live. There are a lot of teenagers out here in New York City that vape. Okay? And being that the coronavirus, as well as the flu, is a respiratory condition, Lisa Evers said that teenagers who vape should really be cautious about catching the coronavirus because their immune system is weakened. Okay? So it said that people with heart conditions, respiratory conditions, diabetes, high risk people who have certain kinds of situations where if you recently had surgery, things like this, you really have to be careful because your immune system is now compromised. So going back to kids that vape, right? There's a lot of vaping done in New York City. The problem is weed is illegal in New York City. So a lot of these teenagers are vaping cigarettes, okay? The Juuls and things like that. These e-cigarettes, that's what they're talking about, the vaping. All right? On the flip side of it, a state like California, marijuana is legal. So whether they vape or whether they smoke it or do edibles, because of the whole vaping problem that recently happened a couple months to a year ago, states that have marijuana legal have been able to solve the vaping issue by redesigning their cartridges, right? Because most of the vaping done out in those places will be with marijuana, THC, CBD. And in New York City, they also tried to crack down on, not CBD, but you can't have CBD infused anything here. There are no more CBD infused foods. You can't really sell them here. They used to have CBD. They used to have restaurants that would put CBD in, dessert or a drink, things like that. Nah, you can't do that in New York City anymore. I'd have to go to Connecticut. Okay, if I wanted a CBD infused alcoholic beverage, yeah, I can't get that in New York City legally anymore. Okay, and since I can't get THC cartridges legally in New York City, or the quality of CBD cartridge that I might buy might be a little bit fugazi because I have to get a medical marijuana card in New York City in order to go into a dispensary, which is not easy out here. Well, nothing is easy out here. So, it's tough. And if teenagers damn sure can't get medical marijuana cards and walk into a dispensary and get a proper cartridge that may or may not have vitamin E in it, right? These kids are really at risk for getting the flu, coronavirus, any of that stuff, and it can be very serious. So they really have to be careful as well. People with emphysema, COPD, you guys also have to be careful. So that means to all my weed smokers, cigarette smokers, just enhance your shit. Drink more water. Do what you have to do because you're also at risk because, it's a respiratory thing. And we have to take care of ourselves now. This is the day and the age and the stage. So if there's a lesson for this for New Yorkers, as well as people in America or around the world, it is to get prepared. But get prepared for what? Do we all have to become survivalists or mountain men, so to speak? Do we all have to do that? We might have to do that. We may not have to go to that extreme, but we may need to learn a little bit more than we did before. Okay? It might be that time for you to stock up on some seeds, okay? Yes, it might be that time for you to learn how to plant things or, grow things in an urban environment because spring is coming. So we're about to be in that season where we can grow stuff anyway. Please don't run to your local gardening place, Home Depot, and buy up all the damn seeds if you do not know how to grow them. Thank you. Learn, okay? New Yorkers, if it rains, let's collect some rainwater, okay? And instead of buying up all the Poland Spring crap, right? I'm sorry to call it crap, but if I can collect rainwater and I can do what I need to do to make it purified and use that, I'm going to save me $1.59 on my 3 liter of Poland Spring. It's time to do that because, people don't know that the number one thing that, you know what? This is an airborne type of thing. Thank goodness me passing money is not going to give the coronavirus, right? But if there's no businesses to support, you know, and things go haywire, these are things we need to worry about. So I'm not going to go into the fear-mongering aspect of it. I myself am an extremist. So it's either I care too much or I don't care at all. But this time I'm going to take the middle path. I'm not going to go to the fear-mongering aspect of things because, you know, I told my mom about certain rumors about martial laws and super lockdowns, and she just was like, well, listen, if it's raining tomorrow, which it did this morning, if it's raining tomorrow, I'm not going to the store to get my crap. And, you know, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to go outside and I'm going to do what I do. She didn't care. She was like, what? I don't care about that. What? Who's talking? And listen, ain't nobody going to be doing that. Ain't nobody worry about that. She ain't pay me no mind. I was like, yeah, you know, this is the rumors here. And she's like, yeah, okay. Good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a real New Yorker. Real New Yorkers don't care. They're like, okay. And there's been so much talk of, you know, there's been so many earthquakes that were supposed to come, so many hurricanes that were supposed to come, so many crazy storms that were supposed to come. You know, we survived Superstorm Sandy. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of old school New Yorkers, you'll be like, oh, the end of the world is coming. They'll be like, yeah, wake me up when it gets here, dude. You know, I'm prepared. I got my little ice pick, my little gun, my little machete or whatever I got to protect myself. Don't bang on my freaking door. Okay? As long as you don't disturb what the fuck I got going on, whether I'm out on the street or in my house, I don't give a fuck. Okay? I don't care what y'all talking about. If I look outside my window and see a man with an AK-47, as long as the motherfucker ain't pointing it to me, I'm going to go about my business. That's how New Yorkers are for the most part. Old school New Yorkers, not these new implant people. Okay? Old school New Yorkers, that's how they are. They're like, hey, okay, I'll see it. We good. Okay. You know, and I'm going to end it like this. It's almost half hour. But the reason why I'm not going into fear-mongering, and one thing that pissed me off about this so-called lockdown, even though I get it, is that I lived through something called 9/11, okay? I lived through that Twin Tower thing. I wasn't in the 6th grade. I wasn't a teenager. I was 20-something years old, about 24, 25 years old. And, you know, 25 or 26 years old, I should say. And I watched it from my house. I watched it on the news, and, you know, when I step outside on my terrace and I look to my left, you know, I can see the smoke from the burning buildings, okay? I used to be able to see the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center, a piece of it from my house. I saw the burning embers fall from that building. And, you know, when you realize that a lot of those burning embers were once human beings who had to jump. And when you know people that have seen these burning embers literally fall to the floor, right? Crash to the floor. When you don't know if 25% of Manhattan will float off into the Atlantic Ocean, because if these towers fall wrong, this piece of man-made land will freaking crack and float into the ocean and, you know, probably connect with some other country or something, right? Or sink. When you know that over 3,000 people died, over 3,000, which is less than the amount of people that have died from this coronavirus, right? They didn't tell us there would be martial law then, right? I saw the freaking stealth bombers or whatever the fuck these planes are called fly in after the fucking fact to check on the terrorist or the plane or whatever the fuck it is, right? There was no martial law then. There was no lockdown then. None. What they say to New Yorkers: stand strong. Keep doing what you do. Show these people that we are not weak. We are not going to cower to bullshit. We are going to show the world how strong and resilient we are. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep pushing. And we're going to keep living no matter what. Nobody's going to fearmonger us. So if a fucking 2 planes can hit 2 buildings, destroy 3,500 people, and they going to tell me to stand strong, why the fuck am I going to be so worried about less than 1,000 people dying, knowing that 80% of people that get the coronavirus get recovered and are healed? Why am I going to the fearmonger side? No, folks. My lazy side will be fucking activated. Oh, I ain't got to go to work? Okay. But even that's a bad thing, because if I don't go to work, I don't get paid. And there's a lot of jobs like that. If you're going to fill me with this social divisions shit and I can't go to work, I can't get paid. Yay for the people that can work from home. But what about the people that work at the movie theater? What about the people that work at Broadway? Right? What about the people that work at the Barclays Center or, Madison Square Garden? What about the people that, go to the Brooklyn Tabernacle Church? What about those people? They can't make their living now. They're stuck. Where are they going to get their money from? Now, because of this lockdown, now. So the moral of the story is, it's important to be balanced. It's important to be properly educated on things. Oh, one more thing. There are a list of items that can clean off the coronavirus. You look at a Lysol bottle and it says coronavirus 18. Spray it 18 times and then spray it once more for the 19th time and you can kill the coronavirus, okay? Because it is official that the Lysol disinfectants can kill the coronavirus, right? SaniClean, which is a wipe, a hospital grade wipe. Those can clean off coronavirus very well, okay? Look for these lists. Educate yourself properly. Don't fall into the fear mongering, okay? Right now, the problem with the coronavirus is not the origin. Because if the origin is in China, those numbers are now declining, okay? The problem is the spread everywhere else because these things are like a circle. They travel like the winds, you know what I mean? Before it dies out, especially these airborne diseases and things. And at the same time, we're now finding out different ways to, see the coronavirus and XYZ. I almost forgot that one of the reasons why there is a lockdown here is a very good reason, okay? There was a man in a Manhattan hospital. And for 4 days, they treated him in the regular hospital because they thought he had influenza. They thought he had pneumonia. But then 4 days later, they realized he had the coronavirus. Now, if they knew he had the coronavirus from the beginning, he would have been placed in isolation. They would have kept him in an isolated container in the hospital, or they would have left him at home, for isolation that way. But they didn't. They had him in general population. So this person came in contact with doctors, nurses, and other patients. So they literally had to quarantine that whole hospital until, they figured things out. I don't know if the hospital is still under quarantine. I don't know if they figured it out. I don't know if the guy, I don't think he died, because if the guy died, that would have been big ass news. You know what I mean? We'd have had even worse than whatever. And as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to look more into it to see what happened to this man. I don't think he died, because it would have been on the news already. But, that was one of the many things that led to this so-called lockdown out here. And I get it. I get it. But don't let it take you too far, yo. Get enough stuff for a week, Jet. You know what I'm saying? Get your weekly stuff on. You feel me? You want to get some extra toilet paper because you bought some extra peanut butter and you're going to take an extra couple of dumps because you're going to be in the house for a while. Cool, but don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't let that fear-mongering mess get into your brain. If anything, let it activate you to do certain things that you didn't do before, Grow something. Because I'm going to learn how to grow stuff in an urban environment. That's what I'm doing right now. Shout out to my teacher. I'm waiting for my seeds. And, as soon as I'm available, I'm going around the corner to my gardening guy, because now I have to figure out if he has the seeds that I want, right? He was supposed to get his seeds in last week because, like I said, spring is starting, so I have to even figure out if he even got the seeds, But it's cool, We're going to learn new things. We're going to get new things together. We're going to become survivalists in our own way. We can't waste time anymore. I'm not asking any New Yorker to learn how to, skin a rabbit. You feel me? Even though I do know how to skin a rabbit. Okay? I'm West Indian, y'all. Leave me alone. I do know how to, pop a chicken's head off. So, yeah. Anywho, you don't have to learn how to do all that right now. New Yorkers, learn how to collect rainwater. Learn the ways to legally and safely purify this rainwater. Get some seeds. Learn how to grow things in an urban environment. With the little red cups and other things like this. There's so many things we can use besides, in addition to soil, to help certain things grow. So let's learn these things. Let's stay motivated on this. Okay? We're going to end the video here because it's important right now to have a physical balance and a mental balance. You know what I'm saying? Stay in the middle path when it comes to your mental health. Don't let these fear-mongering tactics and all this stuff coming at you, all this propaganda, take you to a place you don't need to be. At the same time, keep yourself physically fit. You scared to go into a gym right now? Don't go in a gym. Stay at home. Hey, you got a personal trainer and you don't want to go to the gym? Cool. Spring is coming. We can go outside. Well, don't let that coronavirus junk hit you in the head. Go work out in the park. Bring your personal trainer to your house. Clean up your fucking house and let the personal trainer train you there. Okay? Online personal training is a winner right now. Contact me if you need some help with that. Okay? And with that being said, everybody have a good night. Have a great day tomorrow. Y'all look out for Requiem for a Dream. It's still coming, y'all. I just felt like the most of humanity and my local community is way more important than one dumbass idiot that does the same damn shit all day. Okay? Yeah, that. Peace and blessings.